Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Scotty Sports Show. I'm your host, MD Lovelace.
Jeff Bryce.
Today we're joined by a very special guest, one of the last baseball players to ever hit through the cycle through the Toronto Blue Jays. He is none other than former major leaguer Jeff Frye. Jeff, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Just going about your virtual baseball. What is that about in your shegone nation?
Yeah, I was talking to some buddies yesterday about what direction the Shegone Nation needs to go, and initially it was just making stupid videos and stuff, and mocking some of the things being taught to kids, and a lot of people keep asking for, you keep saying what not to do. Well, tell us what to do. So we came up with the idea to start our own little virtual baseball team, and I don't really, it's like no specific age, they could be 8-year-olds or 18-year-olds, or just kind of go over all the stuff that was taught to me as a kid, and I taught to my kids about just the basic fundamentals, and I think it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Nice.
Well, if you've ever seen me play baseball, Jeff, here's some trivia. I've been thrown out of more baseball games than I've ever actually played in my career, and Babe Ruth was tops for me. So that's a lot of Jeff asking you questions. I know a little bit. Other than that, I have no idea. So
No problem.
we're good. Speaking of the cycle, Jeff, walk us back through that moment. Kind of the situation surrounding that point, and did you kind of have the confidence to know like you were going to be able to do something big that day, or was it just every other day for you?
No, it was just, at that stage of my career, the year I was with Toronto, I wasn't playing every day. At the beginning of the season, I was, and then we made some trades and brought up some young guys. So I really wasn't playing every day. I was more of kind of a, utility guy, and so I didn't really even know that I was going to be playing that day when I went to the field. I just knew we were playing the Rangers, and my old buddy and teammate Darren was pitching, and I knew I had hit well off him in my career. So I just, went in there and saw that I was hitting ninth and playing third base and facing Darren Oliver.
Oh, nice.
What kind of crap did you give him after the game?
Not much. We're really good friends now. I actually was his agent for 9 years after I retired. So, but I give him some crap every now and then. I was like 7 for 10 in my career, 700 off of him. But the funny thing is that when we were teammates with the Rangers, I asked him one day, I was like, Darren, I said, if you ever face me, how you going to pitch me? He goes, I'm going to jam you. I'm going to bust you inside. I said, okay. So the very first time I faced him, first pitch, he threw me a fastball in, and I turned on it and hit a rope off the third baseman's glove for a base hit. And I don't know. I did pretty well against lefties, but it's anytime you face a good friend of yours, man, you want to win that battle.
Definitely.
Is there ever a point when you're around at first base, you're like, maybe I should go to head second here? No.
Well, it was a little controversial because I could have easily had a double.
Yeah.
But I, before I went up, I don't know if you guys heard the story, but before I went up, I asked Cito Gaston what I have to do, and that, if that happens, if I hit one in the gap or in the corner, and he told me to stop it first and tell him I told you to. So I figure, with Cito Gaston's resume in the game, 2 World Series championships, 4 pennants as a manager, if he tells me to do something like that, I feel like that's okay.
I know I probably would do the same thing. So it's all
we were winning by 8 runs,
Yeah. So I have a kid. Mike has a kid. What is some advice you'd give to a young kid, just learning baseball and coming through?
Just make it fun. Make it fun. That's what I played every day I could as a kid, just because I loved it. It was just fun to go outside and play and compete against my friends, and just basic fundamentals. I wouldn't force them to practice all the time, because then it's almost like it's not their idea and they don't want to do it, but when your kid comes up to you, because I have 2 sons, and now we used to spend hours in the backyard, and they would ask me, Dad, you want to go play baseball in the backyard? I was like, I don't think I ever said no.
Yeah, that's what.
Right.
We have a batting team. My son, I kind of not force it on him, but like he'll come up and ask me, "Hey, can I hit off the tee? You want to throw me some?" And I'm glad he does say that.
Yeah. If he's coming to you to do that, that means he likes it and he wants to get better, And especially when kids go out there and practice by themselves. Sometimes you just got to let them go out there by themselves and try to figure stuff out. People, I think, try to overcoach kids, and you'll find out too, which I found out, that at some point they don't think you know anything. Now, my friend, one of my best friends was a batting practice pitcher for the Rangers when I came up, and we've been friends for 28 years. And he said, "Your kid's not going to listen to you." I was like, "Shut up." They listen to me. He's like, "I promise you at some point they're not going to listen." And sure enough, it happened. And I was like, "How can you not listen to me? I've been in the big leagues. You listen to this guy over here, who didn't even play in high school. You listen to what he says over what I say." And when you're trying to teach your kid something that you know is the right thing to do, and he rolls his eyes at you, you're just like, "Oh my God."
Nice. Go ahead.
No, you're good.
Your agent, you said?
Yes.
Do you have any good stories about being an agent?
Oh, I've got lots of them.
Favorite story?
Oh, probably my favorite story is I've got two Darren Oliver stories. I have a lot of Darren Oliver stories, but two really funny ones. Is Darren was when he first hired me, he called me. It was the first year I'd been an agent. I'd been an agent for like a month, and didn't really have any clients or anything, And he calls me up and says, "Frye Daddy," he goes, "I need you to help me get a job." And I said, "I can't, Darren." I said, "You're represented by Scott Boras, He goes, "Well, all right, stay on the phone. I want you to hear me fire him." And I was like, "No, I'm not staying on the phone." I said, "Just call me back." So 5 minutes later, he goes, "All right, I left him a voicemail. See what you can do." So within 48 hours, I got him. I had played for the Rockies as my last, played for the Rockies in 2000. And so I knew, a lot of the people there, GM and stuff like that. One of my best friends worked there. He was the video guy. So I had some connections there. So I contacted the Rockies. The Rockies called me back and said, "Listen, Scott Boras called us like early in the off season, and we didn't have a need for Darren Oliver." He says, "But some things have changed." And he goes, "So we'd be interested in inviting him to spring training." And sure enough, within 48 hours, he gets an invitation to spring training and made the team and played for 9 more years.
Wow.
That was pretty cool.
So Friday threw in the clutch.
Friday, yeah. I love that.
The other funny story is Darren's playing for the Mets. And I called him up one time. I say, "D, what's up?" "Oh, man, these guys are killing me Friday. They're killing me, pitching me every night. And then I call him up, a couple weeks later. I was like, "What's up, D?" He goes, "Friday, man, these dudes ain't pitching me at all, man. I ain't pitching like 10 days.
Nice.
Right? So I said, go talk to Willie." So he went in and talked to Willie Randolph, his manager. And he told me the conversation is straight comedy. He goes, "What's up, D?" He goes, "Willie, man." He goes, "You're killing me, man. I ain't pitching 10 days, Willie. Come on." And Willie goes, "Oh, D, you're my long man. You're my long man." He goes, "I ain't your long man, short man, nothing, man. You ain't put me in the game." He goes, "Come on, Willie."
Nice.
So advantages and disadvantages, both from the player role and the agent role. Now that you've been on both sides, is there a preference for you?
Oh, I'd much rather be a player than an agent.
Yeah.
You make 100% of the money. As an agent, you only make 4%.
What are some things that you've noticed now as an agent that maybe you didn't realize as a player that kind of went into things?
How needy the players are.
It's a lot of babysitting.
And we had a client one time that wanted us to buy shower shoes for him.
Wow.
I'm like, "Go to friggin' Walgreens and get you some flip-flops." It cost me more money to ship them to you than it costs you to buy them. I mean, he's shower shoes. That's all he needed.
Better
Right?
call mom.
Right.
I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, so I don't know how many years ago it was that they made a rule that each player, you can't spend more than $2,000 on a minor league player in 1 year, right? So now what happened when they implemented that rule is now these players think that they get $2,000 worth of equipment a year.
Oh, from their agent?
Yeah, so you're an A-ball. I mean, you don't need $2,000 worth of equipment in 5 months. You need like 2 or 3 pairs of spikes, some batting gloves, a glove, and they all want bats. When I came up, the team gave us bats, and they still give bats, but all these guys want their specific bats, and this, and a dozen bats is like $1,000
So they get all their equipment through you?
through the agents.
Oh,
Wow.
Okay.
That sucks. I don't like that part of it.
That's pretty interesting.
You got 20 minor leaguers, and each one thinks he gets $2,000 worth of equipment a year.
Oh.
That's $40,000 a year for guys in the minor leagues, and the minor league guys don't pay you anything. That's just like, and the thing is like, it's a year-to-year contract, so you could spend $2,000 on a player for 5 years while he's in the minor league. So $10,000, and then I go see him in spring training, take him out to eat. Who knows how much money I got invested in this guy. And he gets to the big leagues and you get a text, hey man, thanks for everything, but I'm going to go a different direction. So your $10,000 is gone. That happens. It happens.
Man, that's crazy. That's crazy.
So some big news recently in the Major League Baseball. Obviously, you probably follow this. The Tatis story, swinging on a 3-0. Me personally, I'm the guy who says swing away, man. If they can't pitch right, why even worry about it? But what's your take being on the player agent role in the past?
Well, it's a tough one. Back in my day, if somebody did that, they would have got hit their next time up.
Oh yeah.
They would have. It's just kind of, but it seems like all the rules that the unwritten rules, that were in place when I came up to the big leagues, it doesn't seem like the people are following those anymore. And it's I don't know if it's just lack of veteran leadership on the team. I don't know if it's
those darn Tic Tac videos everyone has to put up. They need more views.
And I think a lot of it is player development is not teaching kids in the minor leagues, the rights and the wrongs of the game. That when I first came up, I didn't say anything. I sat in my locker. I was just, I respected all the guys who were there before me. And it was like, I got to put in my time, man. I got to pay my dues before I can, start saying anything really. And it was just, that's the way it was. If you did something stupid, if I showed up a pitcher by flipping my bat or pimping a home run or doing, stealing a base when we're running by 8 runs, somebody would grab me and told me not to do that. I had a manager, Toby Hara, that I made a few mistakes in my rookie year, man, and he put me in my place. And, I didn't make those mistakes anymore. I just didn't know,
Is there any other unwritten rules that you know of that people should know about?
Well, there's certain rules that we just kind of abided by, You don't pimp a home run.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You don't flip your bat. You don't, they hit one of our guys, we're hitting one of their guys.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem is that Major League Baseball has stepped in and kind of taken the power away from the players. Now somebody throws at somebody, they're warning him first time. Warning both benches. Well, now if you got your starter in the game, in the second inning, he can't throw at somebody. Now you're going to mess your bullpen up for the next 3 days. So it's like, but we used to police ourselves. I remember, I'll tell you a quick story. When I was playing for the Red Sox, they hit one of our guys. They hit John Valentin. We're playing the White Sox, and they hit John Valentin and broke his wrist. But it wasn't on purpose, but it didn't matter. What mattered is they hurt one of our best players, right? And he's out now. He's out for months. And so the other team knew that we were going to retaliate. And so I went up to John Wasden, who was a new guy on our team, and I walked up to him in the dugout, and I said, "Was," I said, "you get first two guys out this next inning, smoke the next dude." And he goes, "All right." And I didn't really know him that well. I didn't know if he was going to do it or not, because a lot of times you see pitchers don't seem comfortable, hitting a guy. It's like they're, when you see pitchers throw at guys' heads, they don't know how to hit a guy. Okay, you either hit him in the back or in the butt or whatever. Okay, you don't throw with their legs and you don't throw with their head. So sure enough, we get first two outs, and now I'm like, all right, let's see what this guy's going to do. And Ron Karkovice, who was the backup catcher for the White Sox, came up. Super nice guy. I hated that it was him, but he knew the situation. And first pitch, he freaking smoked him right in the ribs. And it hit so solid that the ball just like stopped and fell straight down. It wasn't like glancing, and he just kind of went, ugh. And his bat and went to first and knew why we did it and didn't say a word, and it was over.
Wow.
And that's the way it used to be.
Kind of took it, yeah. What do you think about the Astral Scandal thing?
Man, I think it was terrible.
Yeah. Terrible.
That first off, the players know it was wrong.
Yeah.
Everybody knew it was wrong. And I think it just got to a point where they were doing so well that they didn't want to stop doing it. You get caught up in that success, if, man, we're one of the best teams in the game and nobody knows what we're doing. But I think a big part of that was the people that were orchestrating that were not baseball guys. They were their stat guys.
Yeah.
The video guys behind the dugout coming up with algorithms to cheat the game and to cheat the other teams. And I think it's bull.
I hear you. What was a moment like during coming up into leagues, like your awe moment, saying, "Hey, holy crap, I actually made it here"?
Well, I remember a game in Arlington in 1994, and we came back from a road trip. Man, I was playing good. I was hitting like 330 or something like that, and we took the field the start of the game. It's always fun when you run on the field as the home team, and they're playing music and stuff, and you get you pumped up. And I'll never forget, I went out on the field, and they're playing this song by Thin Lizzy, "The Boys Are Back in Town." And I took the field in Arlington Stadium, as a second baseman, and this song comes on, "The boys are back in town." And I'm getting chills now. I got chills standing on the field like I'm freaking a big leaguer, dude. I wanted to do this my whole life, and now I'm actually starting second baseman for a Major League Baseball team. And I got chills on the field. It was really cool.
Playing with the Blue Jays and then the Rangers and the Rockies and the Red Sox and all that. What's the difference between like staying in Canada and then like the U.S.? Like, is there anything different, or stuff you liked or disliked, or?
No, I mean, I didn't. Let's see. I mean, I loved my time in Toronto. We didn't have a very good team, very good season, so that was kind of crappy. But I kind of got mad at the fans of Toronto a little bit because, like, we're in first place and we have a weekend series against the Yankees. This is like a month and a half into the season, right?
Yeah.
And we're playing the Yankees, man. This place should be rocking, right?
Yeah.
It's like nobody there, and all the fans were so quiet, and it was like, it's kind of disappointed, I thought because I remember playing against the Blue Jays when they were winning World Series, man, and they drew like 4 million people, and they were packed every night, and that's exciting, to play in those kind of games. And it was just kind of disappointing that we didn't have much of a crowd at that series.
What's the most bizarre thing that's ever happened to you as a road player in a stadium, or like during a road trip?
Oh, the road trip. I was probably in winter ball, to be honest with you. Oh, I know what it was. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. We were playing in Oakland, where I grew up, and I had like 30 people at the game. My family, my mom, dad, cousins, aunts, uncles, everybody was at the game. and we're in the first base dugout, and all of a sudden this dude jumps out onto the field naked. Started doing this like this in front of our dugout, but facing like the section where my family is. Like, oh my God, look at this guy. My mom sees this guy.
Nice.
And that was the last time Mom came to a game.
Yeah, I was like, Mom, don't look at that.
Most memorable clubhouse moment for you?
Oh, that's easy. Kevin Brown. He was my teammate in the early 90s, and he had some kind of a temper.
Oh.
Okay. So if he came out of the game and he didn't pitch good, man, you could just hear stuff being broken all the way from the dugout to the locker room. So anytime he was coming out of the game and the clubhouse kids knew that he didn't pitch good, he was going to be mad, they would remove everything out of the locker room they could that could be broken because they knew he was going to just destroy stuff. And so I was hurt that year. It was 1993. I was on the DL. So I was spent a lot of the time in the locker room during the game, And so I heard that he was coming up, and I see all these guys running around, moving stuff around, all this stuff. And I went and turned my chair around, facing the locker room, and sat right in my chair and just waited for him to come up. And I'm just sitting there watching him. And he's just throwing crap everywhere, just cussing and breaking stuff. And he looks at me and he goes, "Are you enjoying the show?" And I said, "Yep, I sure am."
Nice. That's awesome. Playing with the Rockies, how was that altitude to play in?
I mean, it was different, definitely different. It takes a while to get used to, You would go run for the game and, you run 4 or 5 sprints or whatever and you're out of breath, so it just takes a while to get used to. And the ball definitely travels different.
Okay.
You can see it when you're playing catch. And it doesn't, they always talk about how the guys don't have good curveballs and stuff up there because, the altitude. So it's definitely different. I enjoyed my time there. I mean, I was in there during the summer. So the weather was beautiful and, great big ballpark. I don't think people realize one thing about Colorado is the field is huge.
All right.
And everybody thinks that, all these runs are scored because the ball goes farther. But really the runs are scored because the field is just huge. And the outfielders can't cover the entire outfield. It's just too big. And I think that's why a lot more runs are scored there than anywhere else.
Is there any pregame ritual that you had?
No, I mean, I always put my uniform on the same way. Just it was kind of like I had to wear my socks a certain way. I had to tape a certain way, tape my wrists, whatever. I mean, sometimes it would be a little bit different, but basically I'd, put on one. I got these wraps for my ankles because I sprained my ankle and I didn't like getting them taped because when you get your ankle taped, one time it's too tight, next time it's too loose. It's never the same, So I got Nomar Garciaparra had these little strap deals he wears. He's like slide this thing over his foot and then it has straps on it. So it was like getting your ankle taped. So I would put on a thin sock, a sanitary sock. Then I'd put that thing on, wrap it up, another sock over it, then my stirrups. And my stirrups I would cut real short and then put tape on them to hold them together so they were all the way down. You didn't really see any white. And I'd wear my pants up. So I'd put my stirrups on, pull them all the way up, flip them over, put some tape on them, put my knee pads on. My jock, I wore long 2 pairs of sliding pants, right? And actually 1 pair of sliding pants, but I'd wear 2 jocks and I would put the cup between the jocks. Not you guys know the jocks, they have the little pouch in it, you put your cup in. It always moves around, I don't like. And so I put one on, put the cup on, another one, then my uniform.
Man, you got to be one of the hottest players in the league, not to sound like that way, but damn, that's a lot of gear. It was hard enough playing football with just like 1 pair of pants, and you're sitting there rocking like 4 pairs by the time you're done. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, plus I would I would come in after BP and redo it.
Jeez.
Oh, nice.
A lot of times because you get all sweaty and you don't want to go into the game all sweaty.
Who had the weirdest pregame ritual around here? Who had the weirdest routine that you've ever seen coming up?
Nomar had a lot of superstition things he did.
Thing he had. Oh man, I can't even do.
Gloves and his, every time he went from dirt to grass or grass to dirt, he'd hit both toes when he was running on the field. So you got the warning track in front of the dugout, which is dirt. Then you have grass. Then you get to the baseline. Then you have the infield grass. Then you have dirt infield. And every time he went from one surface to the other, he would hit both toes when he was running. He would set his glove on the steps with his hat on it and the sign of a cross. He would bring his jacket all folded up down to the dugout every game. It didn't matter if it was 110. He's bringing his jacket down. And he ate like the same thing. I forget what he ate. Some kind of sandwich he ate all the time.
Wow.
But y'all remember Brad Fulmer?
I remember Brad Fulmer, yep.
All right, so I was like the clown on the team, so I called him Francis from Stripes,
Yeah.
What did the guy say? He's like, take it easy, Francis, or whatever, right? So, and he was a good dude, man. I really liked him a lot, but he had a lot of weird stuff he did. He had this thing with his bat. He's always doing this. He's always doing this in his dugout. So we're in Anaheim, and they pinch hit for him. So he was pissed off. So he's up in the clubhouse, no shirt on, but he's got his pants on, right? And he's over in front of his locker, just doing this. Right? And I'm like, what is he doing? So I walked up behind him and freaking grabbed the bat out of his hand. And he looked at me like he was going to kill me. I was like, will you freaking relax and go have a damn beer? And he just stared at me. He goes, all right, man. All right. Thanks.
That's awesome.
What was the weirdest thing that you've been a part of as far as like a prank, something original, not just like the same old, pie in the face, but like what's the most original prank you've seen while you were spending your time in the majors?
There's a couple. The guys really like to mess with the traveling secretary. So with the Rangers, it was Dan Shimmick, and they had this plastic deal. It was like a player, right, that they would stick in the batter's box sometimes and let pitchers seem like they're throwing to a real hitter, but it's just plastic. It's almost like a mannequin type thing. And so they took it on the road, and somebody brought it to the hotel and got the key to Dan Shimmick's room and put it in his bed. And he showed up. This thing was laying in his bed. He went down the front desk and said, hey, there's somebody in my room.
That's awesome. Is there a pitcher you hated facing?
I didn't like facing some of them. I didn't like facing Mike Mussina. Kevin Apier. I don't know if you guys remember him. He was just like so intense. He's on the mound going,
Right?
A guy named Mike Fetters, this big old relief pitcher, right? He would he's in the set position and he's facing like the third baseline, right? And I'm hitting over here, and he'd go like this. He'd go like that, and he would look at you real fast, and you're like in the box, going, jeez, that guy scared me.
Yeah, he'd always had that face. I just could never get over that.
It was like so intense. It's like freak you out, Randy Johnson, he was very intimidating.
Yes.
He looked like he was mad at you if you got a hit,
It reminded me of him and Andrew Miller, kind of that same style where that pitch, you just don't know where it's going.
Yeah. And Miller's good, but he's not near as intimidating as Randy Johnson was.
Oh, no, yeah, exactly.
Final question for you, Jeff, just because I know we got to cut you loose here for time purposes, but what is the biggest takeaway you've had playing the game of baseball for as long as you have?
How fortunate I was, that, I was just I played well at the right time to get my opportunity, and I made the most of it. And that, anytime you get to play a kid's game and get paid to do it, it was just, it's a dream come true, it was just so fortunate. And when it's over, man, it's so sad because me personally, I had so much fun playing. I mean, I like practicing. I'd like every game in the minor leagues. I had fun, it was just so fun to be able to compete and play a game that I loved.
Nice.
Actually, I lied, Jeff. I have one more question for you now. Being that baseball is in the time it's in right now, what's the biggest thing that you would have seen, being on both sides, being a player, being an agent, going into this COVID situation with the players' agreement? Was that something that you kind of wish maybe they would just wait it out this season? Are you kind of glad there is baseball? Obviously, because, again, you're getting paid as an agent. But would you wish there would have been something maybe done differently in the agreements for this season? Or are you okay with where we're at and let's just play ball?
I mean, I'm glad they're playing. I got tired of watching old reruns. So for selfish reasons, I'm glad they're playing. And I wish they would have done it sooner.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they missed a huge opportunity. We could have been the only game in town, but they happened to start almost simultaneously with NBA and NHL all at the same time, And I understand why it didn't happen. The owners are tough to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
These guys, there's a reason that the players union is considered one of the strongest unions in the country, is because the players stick together. And I think the union did the right thing by not allowing the owners to dictate everything. And we'll see. I mean, who knows? This year is going to probably go down as one of the strangest in the history of the game, and hopefully next year we can get back to normal. It just doesn't seem really normal to me right now.
How have your players been acclimating to the changes made this season?
Well, they've been doing fine. I mean, it is. I hate this. This is my least favorite statement. It is what it is, right?
Right.
But that's really all. There's nothing else they can do but go through, everything that. The way that they've set it up. And it's weird for sure, that, there's 60 players for each organization, and they're the only ones getting to play right now. I feel so bad for the minor league guys. These guys don't make any money, but they rely on that little money to get them through, and now they're not making anything.
Find jobs.
Yeah, a lot of them are. I heard on the radio the other day, these guys are, Uber drivers and
yeah,
like that, just trying to survive. So I really feel bad for those guys.
What are your final predictions for this season? Who's gonna win from both divisions and ultimately the pennant this year? Who do you got your money on for this year?
I'm going with the Oakland A's.
I like the A's.
And in the National League, probably the Dodgers, man. They should win. They got, seem like they have the most talent. I mean, Padres look surprisingly good this year,
They have a young squad, too.
Yeah, I mean, they have a chance to be good for a while. And Tatis, man, that dude's a beast.
I almost forgot Hosmer was on the team until I saw him trying to smooth things over.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he was, I think, he's just getting older. He's still a good player.
Oh, yeah.
He's just not probably where he was when he was with Kansas City. He was, he was the man in Kansas City, and now he's got some other guys on his team. So,
yeah, definitely.
So who's going to win it all? He said between the A's and the Dodgers. Who are you going with? Final choice.
Oakland A's, American League.
Okay.
And I grew up hating the Oakland A's.
My second favorite team.
I grew up a Giants fan.
I'm a Cubs fan.
You're what? Who are you a fan of?
I'm a Cubs fan.
No, you're not.
What's that?
Are you really?
Oh, yeah.
I thought you were making a joke.
I just don't like the Cubs.
My dad grew up watching the Cubs, and that's kind of what he had on TV. And when I was a kid, the Brewers were terrible. I mean, their 90s, they won, 50-some games. I was like Jose Valentin and Fernando Vina, like all those guys. They're good players. They just could never put it together and get a good squad, and kind of just fell off the train with them. And I mean, I watched the Cubs with my dad, so.
Yeah. I remember watching the Cubs back when I was growing up. The only teams that were on TV were the Cubs and the Braves, you know?
Yeah.
And so I remember watching the Cubs, man, when they had, Ryan Sandberg and Andre Dawson and Shawan Dunston. They were Lee Smith. He was nasty.
My dad's all-time favorite was Ron Santo.
Oh, yeah.
He loved him. Oh.
Ron Santo. He was the announcer too, right?
He was there for a lot of years before he passed away.
I loved Harry Carey too.
Yeah, Harry Carey, yeah.
He was getting hammered up in the friggin' press box, drinking Budweisers.
I loved, you might know, Kerry Wood.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He was one of my favorite.
Yeah. Yeah, I loved watching the day game, at Wrigley Field with, the thing, and you mentioned the Brewers. Man, the Brewers had some studs back in the day. They had Robert Young, Mahler.
Yeah.
I mean, they had who's the big Greg Vaughn? He was MASH.
Fielder, we got rid of him. I mean, every time a guy gets good, we trade him away. So
they just had no pitching.
No.
No.
Had a young kid, Kyle Peterson. He does the Little League World Series stuff. He was supposed to be a pretty big pitcher for the Brewers, and he ended up blowing his arm out a couple of times, and he was done. Yeah,
the guy who I hit, one of the guys I hit the best against in my career was Cal Eldred.
Cal Eldred, yeah.
He hit a home run in Milwaukee off him.
Nice.
Probably the farthest home run I ever hit.
Nice.
Was that County Stadium or was that Miller?
Yeah, County Stadium.
County Stadium, yeah.
Oh, you know what was awesome about County Stadium? The visiting clubby, man, he always had these brats for us. It was like the best.
Nice.
Man, he had some cold beers in there after the game. I love that part of it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Well, Jeff, we have to get going because of time constraints, but we want to thank you for being on the show today. We look forward to hopefully talking with you again in the future, and stay in touch.
Appreciate it.
All right, guys. I appreciate you having me on, man. Y'all have a good day.
Thanks, Jeff. Enjoy your day.
All right, bye.